Prime Minister is in Ottawa today, so the question is for him. He is panicked now and put a pause on the carbon tax for 3% of Canadians in ridings where his polls are plummeting and his MPs are revolting. Also revolting were the comments of a Liberal rural affairs minister who stated that other Canadians would have got a pause on the pain if they had elected more Liberals. Yet Northern Ontarians did elect Liberals. So the question for the Prime Minister, will he allow a free vote for his Northern MPs on our common sense motion to keep the heat on and take the tax off?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I have explained to the Leader of the Opposition through many different question periods over the past number of days, home heating oil is 2 to 4 times as expensive as natural gas. It accelerated by 75% in 2022. We have put into place a plan that will enable people to get off of heating oil, to have free heat pumps. It will save them up to $2,500 a year. It will make it more affordable, and at the same time, it will allow us to fight climate change. That is true for the 270,000 households that use heating oil here in Ontario.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question was for the Prime Minister, who first was dividing and now is in hiding. He wants to quadruple his tax, but now he's had to back down and give a pause to the pain for 3% of people in ridings where his polls are plummeting and his MPs are in full revolt against him. His Liberal Minister of Rural Affairs said if people in other regions want the same pause on the pain, they have to elect Liberal MPs. However, many did. We have a Liberal MP in Calgary and one in Edmonton. Will they be allowed a free vote on the common sense Conservative motion to take the tax off and keep the heat on?
The Honourable Minister.
To have thoughtful public policy prescriptions that address issues around affordability in a long-term way, but also actually address the issue of climate change. And I would say, Mr. Speaker, the only person who is hiding in this chamber is the Leader of the official opposition, who is hiding the fact that he either does not believe in climate change, or he certainly doesn't think it's very important. He has not spoken the words climate change since he was elected, and he has no plan. At some point, he needs to tell Canadians, what is your plan to address the climate crisis?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I'm right here while the Prime Minister hides and divides. And why wouldn't he hide? After all, he's in panic mode. He first promised to quadruple the tax on everyone, and then after I beat him in that debate, he decided to back down and lift the tax off 3% of people for a short period of time. His Rural Affairs Minister said that if other Canadians wanted the same pause from the pain, they needed to elect more Liberals. Well, Thunder Bay elected 2 Liberals. It's a very cold place. Will the members for Thunder Bay be given a free vote on our motion to take the tax off and keep the heat on?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you who is missing in action when it comes to protecting Canadians and their affordability. And I'm talking about the affordability of life for our seniors. You know who's missing in action? The Conservative leader. It took him 29 days to speak up for the Canada Pension Plan. But none of us should have been surprised, because last year he sought to eviscerate that plan, which is so important to every single Canadian, by seeking to freeze contributions. We can't trust Conservatives with our pensions or anything else.
Years of this Liberal NDP government, the Prime Minister's carbon tax is making it impossible for Canadians to heat their homes this winter. That's especially true right here in soon-to-be frigid Ottawa. There are 12 Liberal MPs here, a cabinet minister, 3 privy councillors, 4 parliamentary secretaries, but according to the minister from Newfoundland, all of these MPs weren't effective enough to get their communities a pause on the pain of the carbon tax. Will they make things right and stand with us today and axe the tax, or will they vote again with the Prime Minister and leave Ottawa residents in the cold?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And you know, there was a time when Canadian progressive conservative voters could rely on members of that Conservative caucus for leadership on fighting climate change. In fact, the member from Wellington Halton Hills staked his entire Conservative leadership campaign on it. What he said exactly, and I quote, is, "The right way to do it is to price carbon through a revenue-neutral carbon tax." He staked his entire Conservative leadership campaign on that. Sadly, he lost. But you know, Mr. Speaker, I agree with him when he said we don't have a plan to fight climate change and reduce emissions, then we won't win the next election. That was true in 2019, that was true in 2021, and it's true today.
The Honourable Member from Thornhill.
If the Prime Minister can pause the pain for some Canadians, then surely he can do it for all Canadians. These Liberal MPs should be demanding that. But they are missing in action. Like the MIA Liberals from the GTA, like that member. Their communities want relief from this costly coalition, but they've been hiding for a week. So I'll give them the chance to show up now. Will the Prime Minister allow the members whose phone number starts with 905 a free vote to take the tax off so their communities can keep the heat on?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what my honourable colleagues could continue to forget is that this policy does apply right across the country.
That's
so
right.
whether you are in the GTA, whether you are in Northern Ontario, whether you are in Saskatchewan
That's right.
or Manitoba or anywhere else in this
Everywhere
country,
in the country.
the price on pollution has been removed for those that use home heating oil,
That's right.
Mr. Speaker. It would be good if the Conservatives actually focused on the facts and allowed us to debate climate change and how we're going to fight it, not if climate change is real or not. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good answer.